Moment number 3 happened in year 6s. We were working on a problem string. So the setup was that we had packets of gum and there were so many sticks in each gum. In this case, one packet had 12 sticks of gum. And so we started off with that and I said, okay, so we had one packet, has 12 sticks of gum. How many sticks of gum would we have in 2 packets? And so that was pretty easy for students. They could say, oh, well, it's double. It's a double there. How do you know? Okay, well, one's 12, so 2 would be 24 because 2 12s are 24. Then we moved on to 4. So if we have 4 packets, how many sticks of gum? And again, they were pretty quick to work out, okay, well, if you double 2 packets, that'll give you a 4, so you need to double 24, and that will give you 48. So double 24 is 2 times 24, and that was 48. Then we continued on with the 8, same thing, they worked out the doubles. Then on to 10, and then the issue there was around the add a 0 situation. Okay, and this is something we need to address because that's a problematic rule, especially when we come to decimals. Okay, then we moved on to 9 times, and so they were able to work out, again, by emphasising the fact that we need to use what's in the problem string. So they said, okay, well, we know that 10 times 12 is 120, so we could do 10 times 12, so that's 120, and then we could just take away one lot of 12. And that's 12 minus 12, and so that gives us 108. Now here's the significant part. When we got to 25 times 12, 25 packets, how many sticks of gum? This is the part that really challenged them. There were more than 6 different answers for this one. And that included students working with algorithms. So I got them to go back and rechecked, and eventually we got to 300 was the common answer. And so I asked them, can someone tell us how we can use what's already in the problem string, something we've already worked out, to help us get to 25 times 12? And there was quiet, absolute quiet. Eventually a braver person or a couple of people had a go. And they had it. So they said, okay, well, you can use the tens. Okay, so if we double the 10, that gives us 20. So we double the 120, that gets us to 240. Okay, so that's our 20 packets. Then we've got to find the 5. And so they said, okay, well, then we can add 4 packets, and that gives us our 48. And then we can add another 1, and that gives us 12, and that altogether gives us 300 sticks of gum. Okay, so that was good. Okay, so they'd used what was in the problem string to help them work it out. But it took quite a bit of work to get there. Interestingly, no one used the 5 is half of 10 strategy. So if we go back to what we already know, we know that the 20 packets is 240 sticks of gum. And so we just need 5 more. So if we've got our 10 is 120, then 5 packets is half of 120. So there's our 5 packets, is half of 120, which is 60, which gives us our 300. So hopefully now, over the coming weeks, they'll start to play with these numbers a bit more.